Hello, welcome back to episode 5 of Shy's Long Con. Today we are going to be exploring traumatic stories.
Real invigorating stuff, gang.
Oh, yeah, and today with me is my co host, Henry.
You would never guess who it is. I never leave. I'm in your walls, watching you do your disgusting little traumatic shit. You pervert.
Well, today's title is.
Hurts donut. Because get it, trauma hurts, don't it? Okay.
That's so special.
Going into this episode, I thought are we going to be able to handle this maturely? And I think it is mature to make reasonably, let's say, funny in quotations jokes if you're coping with what is clearly uncomfortable. That's human nature, baby.
Yeah, that's my coping mechanism to a T.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do in reason. I mean, of course, if it's really fucking bad, it's like, haha, you got raped. It's like, no, that's not funny. That's not gonna be the joke.
Gosh, awkward situations make me laugh, so I apologize if I laugh in inopportune times. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be an interesting episode. Also, the first two stories are going to be a lot, and then the second two stories, because we usually just do four. I have two short ones, so I might do three, but those are more lighthearted. Yeah, or they have an end that, at least we got an okay ending.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no idea where this story goes because I didn't read it. I just read the trigger warnings and I was just like, this fits.
Samesies.
So, I'm going to talk about episode 3. There was this story that had talks of suicide, and I read the title before I read the trigger warnings. And so I'll try to read the trigger warnings before I even read the title because sometimes even that's too much for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand that and recognize where I went wrong because I went back to double check that I had trigger warnings. But, the title itself was a triggering thing.
I'll try to do the same. If I mess up, you're gonna punch me, clock me out, and I'm gonna redo it.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess, do you want to start first or should I start
You
first?
want to do rock, paper, scissors to decide?
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I always tend to win these because you always go for paper.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'm gonna start off. I'll go with the trigger warnings. This is really gonna set the tone for the episode. Not a lot of cheery shit. The trigger warnings are sexual assault, physical violence, victim blaming, and ableism. The post name is "Am I the asshole for not punishing my daughter for hitting a disabled boy that touched her inappropriately?" Um, all right. The first post, the original post, came about on August 11th, 2025, which was holy shit, that was really recent. As of the recording, that was 15 days ago. Hey everyone. First time actually posting. My family consists of me, 32M, my husband, 35M, and our adopted daughter, Kayla, 14F. Kayla has autism. She's partially nonverbal and has extreme sensory issues. She goes to a public school with a decent special education program. She's in a class separate from all the other students with multiple teachers. Kayla is really happy and gets along with most of the kids. The class is allowed to join one of the general population gym classes. I was really worried about this at first, but this class is actually really, really nice to the special ed kids. All the kids in special ed are really nice and sweet, except for this one boy, Josh, 16M. He has Down syndrome. Josh's mom is the kind of mom that I can't stand. She doesn't enforce any rules on her son. She never corrects his behavior or tells him no. Yeesh. Okay. Josh isn't a mean or violent kid. The problem is that this boy has no concept of boundaries or consent. He's very physically affectionate. My daughter does not like being touched at all unless she specifically asks for it. He's always grabbing her, tickling, hugging, pinning her down to cuddle. She tells him no politely, but that just makes him upset and he tries harder to touch her. The teachers have to constantly stop him. Oh, this sounds like a nightmare situation. Last Friday, I got a call that the principal wanted to have a meeting after school. Kayla was in trouble for hitting a boy in her class. Kayla was waiting in the office. The principal gave a whole speech about how violence is absolutely unacceptable, etc., etc. I asked her what happened. They were in gym class for a free day, and Kayla was jogging laps around the gym. Josh was off to the side with a group of girls playing tickle tag. As Kayla was passing by, she felt hands on her butt. She spun around and slapped him across the face. Josh fell to the floor and started loudly crying. He wanted Kayla to join them playing, but instead of asking her, he just ran up behind her and tickled her butt. That's not okay. I felt so bad for my little girl. She was so upset. I assumed that the punishment would be dropped, but the principal wanted a week of detention. I was floored. She thought that she was being groped. It was self defense. The principal said Josh wasn't sexually harassing her. He was just playing.
Hmm.
Even if he was e- Even if he was, violence of any kind is not tolerated. I asked if Josh would be punished for touching my daughter's butt, and he said no. He has Downs. He doesn't know any better. I unloaded on the principal. Are you going to let him graduate and send him out into the world as an adult thinking it's okay to sneak up behind girls and touch their butts? He needs to learn that that behavior isn't okay. The principal kept to that same stupid excuse. I stormed out and took Kayla out for pizza. Josh's mom was blowing up my phone the whole time, but I ignored her. My husband agreed that Josh's behavior was inappropriate and her reaction was reasonable, but that maybe Kayla should apologize to Josh for hitting him, since he doesn't know why he got hit. Am I the asshole? Or it's ATIB. I've been saying it, am I the asshole? I don't actually know what AITB is. Am I the butt face? Okay. Sorry, I spread a little bit of information. Am I the butt face? What do you think?
Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
That's enabling.
Yeah, like some really irresponsible parenting and just guardianship from the school
Like,
themselves.
I understand that both of these children have some mental, what's the proper terminology for that?
Um, I would say challenges.
Mental challenges and struggle to learn in specific areas or struggle to accept things in specific areas. But it is not okay for this child to not learn boundaries or to respect them. And the fact that someone else has to be considerate of the fact that he's not aware of these boundaries is gross.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally physically assaulting her, and then she tries to fight back because she wasn't aware of what's happening and got startled, and they're just like, no, but he has Down syndrome. He can't be punished. He doesn't understand. And
Mhm.
it's just like, she has autism. She doesn't like being touched. This is really disrespecting her mental, like,
Her
struggles.
challenges.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's struggling more than her, so she has to get punished because he doesn't understand that she has her boundaries for reasons.
Yeah, I'm getting the ick of like, oh, boys will be boys. It's like, no, you cut that shit out the second it starts. That's not a behavior that can be accepted or tolerated in any circumstance.
Like, it's really upsetting because through the description of what he's been doing to this girl is gross. I would feel icky. It's
Hmm.
just like, I'm trying to tell you multiple times that I don't appreciate being touched, and you continue doing it, and then you start to cry, and somehow I have to be considerate of your feelings when you're not being considerate of mine.
Yeah, it's just like it's it shows such a disrespect for what she has to go through in this situation. And I think what really peeves me off is like it this has been an issue before. Like the teachers have had to stop this kid several times. And so it should be a surprise to no one that Kayla escalated to this situation because the kid the that's Josh was already escalating the situation over and over again with no consequences being like put upon him other than just stopping him from taking it further, which by the way, you have to do more than that.
Right,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna preface this by saying that I don't have a lot of knowledge on Down syndrome or autism. Like, I have more knowledge in autism than I do Downs. But
Mhm.
from my experience, like, they are down people with Down syndrome are able to learn.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's more difficult for them to understand some things, and like they struggle to learn a specific area of things, but they're still able to understand, if they're taught properly, what's right and what's wrong.
Hmm. Like, I don't have specific knowledge or education on Down syndrome, but I do have a little bit of education on autism and other like, what's the word? I guess what I'd say like disabilities or like deficiencies with like kids' behaviors or like learning disabilities. What I do know is that you need strong consequences and rewards in their environment because you have to be the one basically showing them how the world works, what actions lead to what consequences. And so by letting this kid get away with this horrendous shit, you are failing him in every single way. And it seems like the mom is only furthering this cycle of just like inability for him to really learn the consequences of his environment because he's going to grow up and he's going to think this is okay and he's going to keep on doing it to other people and he's going to quickly learn like your disability doesn't give you a white card to do whatever the fuck you want. You still have to treat people with respect.
Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, it's just it's so icky and gross that this has even been allowed to get this far. I'm gonna read some quick comments. Okay. Absolutely not the butthole or the butthead. The school administration seriously needs to check themselves and look at security footage or something if this has been a pattern of Josh. The double standards are crazy here, that the fact that he has Down syndrome excuses him, but Kayla's autism and sensory issues mean nothing. Ridiculous. The OOP says they think that because he didn't have any sexual intentions that it's all misunderstanding and he should just be let off the hook. Honestly, I can't stand people that don't hold disabled kids accountable when they act inappropriately. Kayla is a lot more mentally developed than the other kids. She's the only one that does work at her grade level and has the mental capacity of a teenager. So she's expected to be a lot more patient and understanding, even when the other kids make her uncomfortable. Damn. Fuck. Another comment says, do they think that people with the condition are incapable of sexual feelings? Because once his hormones kick in and he actually starts wanting that kind of thing, he'll have no actual idea of how to behave and he'll just start sexually assaulting people. He needs to be taught consent, ASAP. I couldn't include that in the post because of the character limit, but I did bring that up to the principal. He seemed shocked and disgusted that I would even suggest that Josh could have sexual intentions. I think he actually does think that Josh has the mental state of a small child, and that makes him incapable of being horny. But he's a 16-year-old boy. It's not out of the question. Unfortunately, his mom also seems to think
That's
this.
crazy. Just because you have a mental deficiency does not mean that you
Hmm.
aren't like a 16-year-old kid. Like, yeah, maybe you haven't learned as much or don't sound as intelligent or are as intelligent, but you would still have that same thinking capacity, like,
Hmm.
and feelings of people your age group.
Yeah, like just
The fact that they're looking at this teenager as if they were a child just feels like they are looking down on the disability itself.
it seems like they're infantilizing him.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's gross. I multiple people with Down syndrome like have lived stable adult lives.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know what they had? They had like strong structures in their childhood that taught them how to act in the world.
right, you infantilizing him is going to decrease the ability he's able to show as an adult.
Hmm.
Like, you're making it harder for him to survive on his own when you treat him like this.
Yeah, like they don't see them like Josh is his own person. It seems like they treat him as like, oh, this is like my baby that I have to support and try and just like entertain them and play with them. And it's like, no, he's growing into an adult, and there's going to be a day when you're not there for him anymore, and it's your responsibility to prepare him so that he can at least live somewhat effectively on his own. And it seems
Right.
like they're not even trying to do that.
Yeah. That that's upsetting.
Oh, for sure. Um, Here's one other comment I want to say. Not the butt, not not the butthead. Zero tolerance policies are bullshit for this reason. She was only defending herself after she was touched without her consent, and I'm assuming she's given Josh warnings before this incident and or attempted to enforce her boundaries. I'd honestly push the issue of teaching boundaries to Josh and escalate it if teachers slash admins try to justify the behavior again. I'm sorry your daughter went through that. I hope she's alright, and her being punished is completely unfair. The OOP says, She has enforced her boundaries multiple times. She always politely tells him no when he tries to touch her, but he just pouts and tries even harder until the teacher comes over to stop him. My husband and the group chat of other parents from the special ed class don't think that attention is necessary, but about half the group chat thinks she should still apologize and we should tell her not to hit people. I don't think it's a big deal. She's never hit another kid before, and if she was actually being groped with sexual intent, I would expect her to hit the creep touching her.
Right, exactly. She was
Mm-hmm.
just minding her own business, doing her little gym activities, running her laps, when someone, she didn't know who, touched her butt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not want her to retaliate?
I Here's a controversial take as someone who works with children. I do think there are certain situations which, let me be very clear, can only really show up if the caregivers in the situation are being wildly irresponsible, which it seems like on some level the school administration is very much being here. That there is the only correct response for a child to do is to escalate to, basically violence, to like hitting someone. Because like I read a Reddit story where like this kid was like being bullied at school for his allergens, and then one of the kids is like, i'm I'm gonna get you with this little peanut butter, and like that could have killed him. And so his
Right?
response was like, stop it. And then when he didn't, he straight up like clocked the kid.
Yeah, honestly, you're risking my life right now and you expect not to get hit? No, you're going to get
Mhm.
hit.
Yeah, like sometimes that is the thing that's going to teach both parties what's necessary, because the other side isn't taking them seriously, and this other kid needs to learn to stick up and defend for themselves. And
Right?
it seems like that's the case. Like, what else is going to teach Josh that that shit's unacceptable? You know?
Right? Because he's not being taught that at home, and then he's just being reinforced in his behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs the exact opposite. He
Yeah.
needs to be told that's not okay, that's not what we do. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, the problem is like this behavior is so thoroughly entrenched within him now because of all the irresponsibility with both the school administration and his mom, that it's just like it's such a big deal. It's going to be so fucking difficult to like unlearn from him. And so like this is sadly kind of the best option Kayla has right now for recourse. Like
right?
he's he's got like years of this like inappropriate behaviors being reinforced and ignored. And so what else is going to teach him, hey, this shit isn't okay, rather than an immediate slap to the face for basically sexually assaulting a kid?
Yeah, and I have to go back to the fact that he was taught this because of how the people around him view him.
It's like, oh, he's incapable of having sexual intentions. That is irresponsible and honestly kind of neglectful of the parents.
Or they're considering the fact that he has like this mental disability, and they're like, oh, just let him do what he wants to do. Like, he's going through a rough time, like he's never going to be able to properly be an adult and stuff like that. And it's just like, you're really babying him, and you're the reason he's not going to be able to do much as an adult.
Yeah, it's like you are failing him with that mindset because you can't even you without any sort of like input on his end are saying you're not capable of living a normal life anymore. And that very mindset is going to fuck over this child because you're not trying to raise him with that idea that you are capable of being a fully capable and independent person.
Right. And I understand that, like, with children with learning disabilities, like, you're going to have to be really strong in what you tell them yes and no to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're going to have a child with that learning disability, you need to know that you're going to have to be like a strict parent in
Mm-hmm.
specific areas
Yeah,
because they struggle to learn and you need to be the person to teach.
straight up. Yeah. Um, but yeah, there is more. So this is an update for the next day. Hi everyone. I really did not expect my first post to get nearly as much attention as it got. I had to turn off notifications for the Reddit app because it was constantly blowing up my phone. In my first post, I talked about a repeated issue with my autistic daughter, Kayla, 14F, has had with a boy in her class that has Down syndrome, Josh, 16M. Oh, I just remembered there's a 2-year age difference. That's really bad. Okay. He has no concept of boundaries and keeps trying to be physically affectionate with people that don't want to be touched, including my daughter. Last week, there was an incident where he touched her butt and she slapped him. The principal wanted to punish her for hitting him, but not Josh because it was just a misunderstanding. The comments under that post were flooded with dozens of stories about people with developmental disabilities that aren't taught boundaries or consent and go on to commit sexual assault. This honestly has me terrified for the safety of my daughter and the other kids in her class. What if he's touched other kids inappropriately before? What if he's done even worse? Kayla has a level of mental development to recognize what Josh did was wrong, but I don't know if the other kids in her class would. I showed my husband the Reddit post. He read the comments, and I could see the color drain from his face. He felt awful for suggesting she should apologize to him. We talked for a long time and decided what to do. First, we sat down with Kayla. We had a long talk about boundaries, bodily autonomy, and consent. We reassured her that protecting herself like that was absolutely the right thing to do. No one should ever touch her like that without her permission. She cried and hugged us a lot. We gave her full permission to stop being polite to Josh. He's had enough polite refusals. If he keeps this up, raise her voice, get aggressive, yell at him, shove him away. It doesn't matter if he cries, she needs to protect herself. And if he gets aggressive or touches her somewhere inappropriate again, she has our full permission to hit him. Sometimes it's better to be safe than polite. We're going to take the advice of many people in the comments gave us. We're filing a police report for the sexual harassment and assault against Josh, and going above the principal to the superintendent and the school board. Depending on how those meetings go, we might consult a lawyer. Thank you all so much for opening my eyes. I'm going to do everything to protect my daughter. All right, quick comments. My brother has Downs. He is very loving and friendly and loves to make people laugh. He also understands he can't just go up and hug or touch people. We taught him very young and reinforced that. Josh is touching people inappropriately, and that can set him up for others doing the same to him. His mother and that school are failing him. I hope you, taking things further up the chain of command, gets things settled. OOP replies, I feel I should acknowledge this. There are other kids in my daughter's class with Downs, and they are all wonderful kids. Very nice and sweet. A few of them have problems with emotional regulation or following rules, but they're not bad kids at all. Josh and Josh's mother are the problem.
I'd rather just say it's Josh's mother because I understand that Josh is kind of the problem, but he's only the reason he's that problem is because his parents did a bad job in teaching him how to properly act in a group setting.
Um, I have a complicated response for that, but I mostly agree with you. Like the reason Josh is behaving the way he is because these behaviors were ignored or possibly even encouraged on like the very beginner level of just like, oh, I love hugs and like ha ha ha. And so Josh learned like, oh, this is something that feels good. And so he continued down that line of road and no one taught him boundaries of what is and isn't
Yeah,
acceptable.
and it's just upsetting because he is going to be held accountable because he's getting close to being an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And if he continues doing these actions with people who aren't comfortable with it, he's going to have a very bad life.
Yeah, that can
And I
become a
just
criminal
feel
sentence.
so upset because this wasn't his decision. Like he wasn't being taught properly growing up. So his behaviors are a problem and that problem stemmed from his bad parents.
This is true, though. I want to hazard saying that this isn't in no part Josh's
I
fault.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Like,
part of his fault, but I feel like most of the responsibility falls to the people who around him who are supposed to teach him properly.
I agree. But, like, the thing is, it's like you coulda, woulda, shoulda done so much differently in Josh's past. The reality is that's no longer an option. What you need to really consider if you want to treat this and solve this problem is see where Josh is at and what you can do now with where he's at. Because what's done has been done.
Yeah.
And so it's just like you need to have a behavioral intervention. You need to make sure that he is getting the consequences and the, teaching of boundaries to what he is appropriate for his age.
Right.
Because if this continues, I can easily see him getting like a criminal sentence and going to jail.
Yeah.
And that environment is not going to be set up to support him at all.
Yeah, which is why it's so upsetting. But I
Yeah.
really hope that they change their mind with all that OOP is planning on doing and properly teach him what he can and can't do.
Yeah. Like the shitty thing about this is like you can see where at every step what could have been done better so that Josh did not end up where he is. And it's frustrating to see like, oh, and the environment that Josh is in is still completely irresponsible with like responding to this and dealing with it effectively.
Right.
Hmm. Okay, here is the next post. It's on August 19th, so that would be
7 days.
yeah, 7 days, and this is the last update. I know a lot of people have been waiting for an update on the situation with my daughter. Quite a few things have happened. I can't give too many details because there are active investigations and legal cases going on.
Pop off queen.
Mm-hmm. King. They're both gay men.
Oh
Um,
my god, really?
yeah.
I did not realize that at all.
Hey, it didn't matter for the story.
Pop off king.
Mm-hmm. Um, I can't give too many details because there are active investigations and legal cases going on, but I figured I'd give all the lovely people that helped me on the right path a good update. There was another incident in school with my daughter Kayla and Josh. Surprise, surprise. He tried to hug her when she didn't want to be and insisted of being polite. She was assertive, like I told her to be. I'm going to repeat that. He tried to hug her when she didn't want to be, and instead of being polite, she was assertive like I told her to be. She sternly told him no, and when he kept trying, she pushed him away. Josh actually picked her up by the waist and tried to force her to hug him. She bit him hard enough to draw blood. I am so proud of my little girl.
Okay.
What the fuck?
That's
Okay.
messed up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's escalating now. Like, that's not surprising, but
She says
it's,
no, he continues doing it. She pushes him away, and then he does it even harder.
yeah, like, it sucks to say, but, like, with the environment as it is with Josh, like, maybe violence is the only way that he's gonna learn, like, I can't treat people like this because they're gonna hurt me because I'm hurting them. Crazy how that works. You get what you put out in the world. Okay. Okay. The principal suspended her after that. While she was out of school for the rest of the week, the police and CPS got involved because of my police report, and the school board took action about my complaints. The principal has been suspended pending investigation.
Good.
Yep, and an intern principal is in place. I already liked him. The first thing he did was have a meeting with me and Kayla. He was calm, reassuring, and he agrees that the behavior of Josh and the previous principal were absolutely unacceptable. Josh is suspended indefinitely while the police and CPS investigations is going on, and Kayla is back in school. She's been so much happier at school without having to deal with Josh. She's been eager and excited to go to school. I've contacted a lawyer, and we're talking about if we want a case to sue the old principal. We're just in the beginning stages, but things seem to be going good. She's a cousin of a friend, so she's taking our case pro bono. Oh, how nice. Thank you so much for helping me find the correct path forward. Fingers crossed everything goes well. All right. I will read one comment from the Best of Redditor Updates post itself. Unfortunately, there are so many people who think people with Down syndrome are childlike and always sweet when they decide boundaries are not necessary. This kid, more than likely, has sexual feelings for this girl and is acting out on them because he has never been taught boundaries, which is sad, but that seems to be the case.
Yeah, this story was really upsetting.
Yeah. All right. I'm so glad we could spend the first 30 minutes on that.
Yeah.
Real invigorating stuff.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You
I,
voted for
I
this.
did vote for this.
So did you,
I
listening audience, except for two of you. I know who you are, and I respect you.
You should respect me.
I do when you make good choices.
Let me just let me go to my story. Okay, I found it. So, trigger warnings for this story, it's still a negative story, is child abandonment, neglect, deadbeat mom, harassment, and job loss.
Oh man.
Yeah. The title is My 52F Mother Cheated and Left Me, 27M, and our family to work in the adult industry and now wants to come back and be my mom again.
It's a little late for that.
Yeah. June 7th, 2021. Posting here because my therapist said it would be nice to get it off my chest. Please pardon me for the wall of text. And no, I won't share any info or links, so if any creep even suggests it, you will get blocked. To give some context, my dad, 67M, used to travel a lot to work and stay weeks away, so he and my mother had an agreement where they had an open marriage. Don't know the details, but she was the only one that slept with other people. This happened through most of my childhood, as I can remember her leaving at night to go to clubs and parties, sometimes taking days to come back and neglecting me and my brother. I learned how to get groceries and cook when I was 8 so me and my brother would not starve. When I was around 13, my parents started fighting since apparently she had broken the deal in some way. My dad found out about the neglect and she started going into the adult industry. They separated, and for years I had no contact with my mother. I sent her texts and emails, some that even popped up as she had seen it, but she never replied. So one day, I just gave up and stopped trying to connect with her. I managed to stay in contact with some people from her side of the family, but a lot of them began hating on us, saying that we were too harsh on her, that we never supported her, that she did well leaving us, and gradually I also cut contact with them as well.
Hmm.
She started working in the adult industry and got pretty famous in my country, got a lot of money, and I stopped using any NSFW websites as she was on the top pages of all of them.
That's brutal.
I gladly suffered zero to no bullying in high school because of it, as there were no ways of connecting her to me, and most of my friends that knew my mother didn't know it was her. She had dyed her hair, done a few surgeries and stuff. Well, I moved on with my life, joined the army, and I'm pretty well now. However, a year ago, out of nowhere, she found me on social media and began to message me, asking how I was, commenting on how much I had grown up, and trying to do some small talk. Apparently, she has retired, and after feeling an overwhelming remorse throughout her entire life, decided to contact us again. My brother was also careful, but essentially accepted her back. He was always close to her. My father is cordial with her, but only that. She has also asked her entire part of the family for help as I began being bombarded with messages and calls, both from those that criticized and supported me and my dad. I made it clear that I do not want anything with her, but they just keep on it, saying that she is remorseful, that she did a mistake but wants to make it right, that she has come back for us, etc. More recently, she somehow found out where I live, and I've been receiving random gifts at my doorstep with messages that were clearly hers. Things like a basket of chocolate that I liked when I was little, expensive clothes. She got my size wrong on all of them, lol. Flowers when my cat passed away, and even a very expensive hiking kit. I messaged her a few times to say that I don't want any of that, but she just pretends she doesn't know what I'm talking about, or just says she thought of me at that moment. I made it clear time and time again that I don't want anything to do with her, but she still persists, saying that she can be my mom again now, and stuff like that. I don't know what else to say, so advices are more than welcome. TLDR. Mother cheated and decided to abandon the family to work in the adult industry. Now she is trying to approach me again with gifts and messages, but I don't want any relationship with her.
Fuck. Um, I mean, it's a little too late, right?
Right?
Like she abandoned her family, broke the deal between the father and her, and uh, I think the most damning thing is like the OOP was consistently reaching out to her and asking for like reconnection, seeing how she's doing. And she even read some of those emails, but she didn't respond to them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you kind of made this bed, so you have to lay in it now.
Yeah, and the family's comments about, oh, you know, she's now back. Come on, forgive her. And it's just like, no.
Also, like, that same family who is like, you guys are being too harsh on her and you don't support her enough. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? She's a parent and she's not even supporting her children in any way. She's actively ignoring them. She read their messages and she didn't respond. It's like you want the children to support their mom who abandoned them to be in an adult industry, which don't get me wrong, no shame on sex workers. Shame on this woman for being a shitty mother. And also apparently a shitty, partner.
Yeah, OP was 13 when she left. He's now 27.
Yeah. And even before 13, they were having to like learn how to cook for themselves and like support themselves because their mom wasn't there
Yeah,
to help them.
at 8. So 5 years after all that started, she finally abandoned them
Yeah.
and then comes back 14 years later asking for amends? No.
Yeah, like she doesn't have the right to do that. And OP has every right to be like, you do not get to be back in my life. You like ceded that, right, once you left me and you ignored me for all these years. And I think it's a huge red flag that she's trying to like buy OP's affection back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Through like all these gifts and stuff like that. And there's like, it's not welcome. Stop doing it. It's like you might be my mother biologically, but you didn't act like a mother to me.
Yeah, too little, too late.
That's not the relationship we have. And you are the one who broke that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Relevant comments. You are under no obligation to allow her back into your life. Block her again and her family and dump all of the gifts she's given you. Stop entertaining her attention. If she still won't stop, I'd honestly recommend going through the legal route. I honestly recommend going to a lawyer. Get a cease and desist letter sent out to her and her family. And if that doesn't stop it, go to the police to get her harassment on file so it'll be easier to file a police report slash restraining order in the future. OOP says, I have donated or sent back all of the gifts already. Unfortunately, cease and desist letters are not a thing in my country, but I'm really thinking about filing a police report for harassment. Just don't know if they will accept since she never did it personally. Another commenter says, it sounds like she's regretting what she's done and wants it back the way it was, but you shouldn't let this happen. It will just happen over and over again. And then OOP responds, she has indeed voiced that she regrets what she has done, and I don't think it would happen again, but she should know things would not go back the way it was, and honestly, if she thought it would be, she is even crazier because things were really bad before. And then an update 11 days later. First, I would like to thank everyone that commented, giving me some comfort advice or letting me unwind on their DMs. You all helped me a lot. I'm still trying to answer all of the comments and messages, but with work and family craziness reaching new heights, that might take some time. But know that your words are very appreciated, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Well, to start the update, I decided to have the moral high ground and take a more polite approach. I know many of you wanted me to just send her to hell on a message or letter, but I thought this way would disarm much of her comebacks and maybe even make some of her family members shut up. I called her and asked her to meet me in a small cafe. No way I was meeting her in private. She got there and it looked like she had won the lottery. She had a smile from ear to ear and was almost jumping up and down, but her smile did fade when she saw my face. She sat down and tried to do some small talk, but I cut her off and began to rain on her parade. With all the common patience I could gather, I told her that no matter what she does or says, there would be no way for her to be my mom again. I started to explain that she was a complete stranger to me now, that I still had resentments, reminded her that I tried many times to stay in contact with her, but she refused, and even stated that I'm no longer a child. I'm almost 30, so I kind of don't need a mom anymore. Had to hold myself not to say something like a few years too late, huh? I decided even finishing speaking when she burst in. No, a few years too late, huh? I didn't even finish speaking when she burst into tears and began rambling about how sorry she was, that she was sorry for not seeing me grow up, sorry for ignoring me, that she would do anything for a second chance. She even told me that if her old work bothers me, she could have it all taken down and pay for therapy if I wanted. Apparently, she didn't know I'm in therapy ever since I was a teenager. I politely refused, and since the conversation wasn't likely to progress, I just left after asking her once more to not contact me again. A couple of hours later, I was in the shower when my phone began exploding with calls and messages. She apparently once again told her family, and once again they were cursing or trying to convince me. That showed me that some of the more radical comments on my last post were somewhat right, and I decided to follow some of their advice. I swapped my phone number, also got a much better phone plan, cleaned my social media of any family members from her side, and told my lawyer to go forward with the restraining order. Thanks to the last post, I had it ready to go. Thanks again, everyone. She received the order a couple of days ago and immediately broke it by driving straight to my house to scream why I was doing that. I didn't come out and call the cops. Thankfully, they saw the restraining order and took her to the station for questioning. I was afraid they would ignore it or something, but I'm glad I was wrong. I'm now stuck here. Not sure with what I did was 100% right, but at least I'm having some semblance of peace these last few days. She's still trying to send gifts, but I'm going legal on that too. I'm honestly not sure if there will be any more updates after this, but if it happens, I'll post on my profile due to this subreddit rules. But once again, thanks everyone.
Damn.
TLDR, I decided to be polite and meet with my mother face to face and tell her that there was no way for her to be my mother again. She said she understood but continued pushing, so I went the legal route and served her a restraining order.
Damn. Yeah, that's. Fuck. I just don't even know what to say. Like, I don't really have a lot of sympathy for the mom because, like, yeah, you feel bad about it, but, like, you should because you didn't support or even really try to make an effort when you were doing the thing that hurt your kids to,
Mm,
like, build a connection with them. Like, too little, too late, huh? I don't think that would have been out of place to say.
yeah. Sorry, I don't really have much comments on this. There's two more updates.
Okay.
Um, 3 weeks after the last update. So I wasn't planning on posting any more updates, but a lot of people have been messaging me, and apparently my post made it onto YouTube and it blew up because of it. Even more people are PMing, so
Personal messaging me.
personally messaging me, so I guess I'll just write a quick one. My mother is now legally fighting me on the restraining order. I didn't even know that was a thing, and I'm trying to get more restraining orders for the more crazy members of her family. My lawyer told me to be cautious because if I request 20 plus orders for all of her family, I'll look like a madman and it will all be denied. She hasn't broken the restraining order again after the last time, but the gifts continued to come and even intensified, so I'm just donating all of them. Although my childhood was pretty bad, I can say that the amount of chocolate she sent me is making a lot of kids really happy now,
Oh,
lol. And I'll say it again. I'm not revealing her name. Go find porn elsewhere and stop messaging me.
people on the internet are awful.
It's not even for her sake because I don't want to get doxxed. Anyone that sends any message like that will be blocked. To end this, I don't know if I'll post any more updates or how long they will be, but if something happens, I'll definitely tell you guys. Once again, thanks to everyone that helped me. And
Yeah.
then
Go on.
you have other thoughts?
No.
Yeah. I'm glad OP is taking the legal route because this is unacceptable. And the last update is January 26th, 2025, 3.5 years later than the last one. Hey there, folks. Yeah, it's been a few years. Life has been a complete roller coaster, but with some people still sending me DMs, I figured I should at least try to make some updates. Now, bear in mind, it has been years, so my memory might be spotty and all over the place. Will try my best to make it chronological, but it might turn into a mess. Right where I left off, well, my mom had been pushy to the limit, but at least with the restraining order, she was keeping away. There were some incidents like when she showed up at my dad's house during a family dinner, only for my dad's new girlfriend at the time, now wife, to open the door. She also showed up at my job asking for me, Army, and one of my friends who was on guard duty scared her off with a shotgun.
Whew.
Love these guys, they are pretty much the only thing I miss about the Army. Well, life was not going that well. Kept being passed for promotions, my request for officer school was always denied, and to top it off, my girlfriend at the time cheated and dumped me. So yeah, not nice. Years went by and I finally thought I would get an upstart in my promotion. I got dismissed by the Army along with a lot of other folks. Suddenly, with no job, I had to go back to living with my dad for some time while I tried to figure out what to do with my life. The restraining order against my mom also expired, so she came back with renewed vigor, which did not help the situation at all. There's a lot more, so I should tackle it some other time. For now, have a nice weekend, folks.
Dang.
And I will see if OOP has any recent posts. No, it's looking like that was the most recent post.
Dang. 7 months ago.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah, that's just tough. Like, someone hurt you so grievously as a child, and now they won't even like leave you alone. You have to get a restraining order against them, and that doesn't even stop them at times. Like,
Right.
that's just. I feel so bad for OP for having to like even just put up with that. The fact that it happened in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, that's awful. The top comment on Redditor updates is the mother is so selfish, it's wild. She can't comprehend how shitty she is being to get her way still.
Yeah.
It's like she's apologizing but still making it all about her. Classic. I'm sorry, but also look at me suffer. Move. Some people just never grow out of treating others like props in their own drama.
Yeah, it just seems like it. It seems like she's getting her way a lot.
Yeah, and another comment says just that. If she actually did give a shit about OP, she would have left him alone after the meeting. This is because she feels she has a right to be in his life because she gave birth to him. It's all about control.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just awful. Speaking of that other Redditor update story that I told you about, that can
Mm-hmm.
go on the next episode we're doing about mother-in-laws
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of related to that and it's long.
Okay, so we're about 50 minutes into the episode. Do you want this to be our last one?
No, I'm saying move that to the next episode.
Okay, you want to read your story and that'll be the last one?
My two stories?
You have two?
They're really short.
Sure, can I read one of them?
Yeah. Here, I'll let you read this one.
No trigger warnings?
No, it's off r/wholesome. We said we'd end it off nice.
You're right. Okay. This post was made 25 days ago. The title is My Dad Apparently Hears Me Say I Love You when he leaves. For some context, no one in my family is very verbally or physically affectionate. We never say I love you or often hug. We we normally all just do things for each other because we all think actions speak louder than words. Unfortunately, because of this, saying I love you doesn't come naturally, and no one in our family really directly says it. However, I would always whisper it after my dad left for work. Mind you, I'm 20 years old and currently in university, but I would always say, Bye, Dad, I love you, just to myself every time he leaves. What I didn't know was he had a camera installed 2 months ago when we went on vacation to monitor the dogs and front door, and noticed I would whisper it every time he left. My grandmother recently died, and he shared this with me to comfort me, telling me how it's his favorite part of his day and how he would check the camera every time he got to work to listen to it. I remember him telling me, I'm glad you still secretly call me that. It reminds me that deep inside, you're still my little girl.
I know it was
Oh.
so sweet.
I hope this little tidbit brightens someone's day. That is so sickly sweet. I love that.
Yeah, it brings tears to my eyes thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love unaffectionate dads who are like, I actually really appreciate you. I'm sorry I never tell you. Oh. Okay, I'll read a comment. My grand my grandfather was a very stoic man. My mom would go to tell him goodnight every night when the news was about to come on. She would always tell him that she loved him and gave him a hug. He never said anything back. She told my grandmother that she just wasn't telling him she loved him anymore, and he was just going to bed. 2 days in, he was drinking coffee with my grandmother and asked, with tears in my eyes, if he had done something to make my mom mad. She told him what happened. He then explained to my mom that he really liked what she was doing, but he didn't know how to react when it was shown to him. She started to tell him good night again, and he would pat her on the back to acknowledge his love for her. Hmm.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, sometimes people just struggle to, how to show affection because they didn't grow up with it. That's tough.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of the wholesome stories, and this one's a little bit longer, but it's also sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The title is My Mom Sacrificed Everything for Us. She's My Hero. Okay, trigger warning, talks of abuse and cancer.
Mm-hmm.
The title is My Mom Sacrificed Everything for Us. She's My Hero. My mom married young. My dad used to beat her almost every day. I still remember those moments like movie scenes. My mom crying and me, just a little kid with tears in my eyes, hugging her and whispering, Don't cry, Mom. And then I would cry with her. One day, my dad left us and went to France. At that time, my brother and I were still in elementary school. Mom was still young and beautiful, and she could have divorced him, built a life, and found a healthy relationship, something she truly needed. But instead, she made her decision based on us. She didn't think of herself at all. She devoted all of her time to raising us, making sure we never went down the wrong path. She even made my dad stay in contact so we wouldn't feel abandoned. Only later did I realize how much effort she put into protecting us from that pain. She even made excuses for him so we wouldn't think he left because of us. When we reached middle school, many kids our age were already drinking and using drugs, but she made sure that didn't happen to us. She was so strong. She never let us feel that we didn't have a father to protect us. I'll never forget one day when I got into a fight with another kid. I beat him up, and later his dad came and slapped me. It didn't even hurt, but I cried like a baby. Not because of the slap, but because deep down I felt the absence of my own dad. Some man told me, "Don't cry, you're a man." I wished I could explain why I was crying, but my mom didn't let it slide. She actually confronted that man and slapped him back. That was her, always making sure we never felt less. She did all of this while fighting breast cancer, which came back several times, both before and after my dad left, and she beat it. She is the strongest woman I know. My mom is 55 but looks much older, like 75. She sacrificed decades of her life for us. I want to pay her back, even if it's only 0.0001% of what she gave us. One day I asked if she ever felt scared staying home alone with just us. She said, "I lived every night in fear." That broke me. As a child, I never realized it. I thought she wasn't afraid at all because she always acted strong for us. After she told me that, I went to my room and cried. This post describes only 0.0001% of what my mom went through for us. Even a movie wouldn't do her story justice. I just needed to share it because nobody knows what tomorrow will bring. I hope one day I'll have the courage to tell her all of this to her face, but I know it'll make her cry, and I don't want to do that to her again. My dad is dead now. I used to hate him, but honestly, I didn't really know him. I don't know if my mom forgives him, but I think I do. He didn't leave us for another family or betrayer in that way. I don't know why he left, but I hope one day in the afterlife, if it exists, I can ask him. For now, all I know is my mom is my hero.
Oh, gosh, that poor woman's been through a lot, but she stood strong for her children.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Oh,
Yeah, and the top comment is, "Oh, honey, tell her all of this now. She will cry, but it will be happy tears."
that's good.
It's just so sad.
She deserves to know how much you appreciate her. Mm-hmm. I love that. That's really sweet. That's sickly sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the episode. Hurts, don't it?
Yep, it hurts, don't it?
I mean, even the wholesome stories hurt really bad. I don't understand how bad stories can hurt and good stories can hurt just the same. I actually think the good stories messed me up a little bit more.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can at least put up a wall with the traumatic shit.
Yeah, because I'm aware that it's gonna be like sad and traumatic, but when it comes to feel good stories, it's just like I'm so happy for them.
I have so much more sympathy. I mean, I have sympathy for the traumatic ones, but like, it's a different kind of sympathy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I have to think about what went down and rationalize it to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but that was episode 5. Thank you for joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
We
Thank
won't
you.
be having any really traumatic story like uh aimed at traumatic stories for a while. They'll probably just pop in with the other themes that we'll be doing, like the
Mm-hmm.
mother-in-law stories that we'll be doing next episode, episode 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not having a poll this time because I said so. Anyways, talk to you guys later, and thanks for joining us for another conversation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let us know what you think. I won't have a poll, but comments are appreciated. I would love some ideas and, you know, constructive criticism on what you think we could do better. And yeah, oh yeah, soon in a couple episodes or so, we will be having guests coming over. They're just friends of ours, but
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty fun, pretty chill. Super
Yeah.
excited.
I'm really looking forward to it.
We might actually be bringing up the school topics again because one of my friends was adamant as being part of the school system that they
Mm-hmm.
did want to talk about the school. Did they disagree with our opinions? No. But they also felt like they wanted to express themselves a lot.
Yeah, we're getting an expert opinion.
Yeah, so we will be welcoming Fink soon.
Mm-hmm.
into our little podcast for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so join us back, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Ta ta.
Ta ta!